Hello, and welcome back to Tales from the Car. I'm your host Joshua, and tonight we're recording another episode. Well, actually, it's not really a full episode. It is the second half of what episode 24 was going to be. So, this is going to be episode 24.5, and this is the discussion of Peter David and Meeting Your Heroes Goes Right, specifically part 9, and that's who we'll be discussing. Then things got kind of mixed up and I had to cut it short, but I thought instead of putting this off into this kind of a small segment, that I just cut a recording in the middle of the week, and then this weekend I'll do a bigger recording because we'll actually be recording episode 25. I know we've done more than 25 episodes between the mini ones and other shit, but this is officially going to be the 25th full-length episode, and it's going to be another episode of When Meeting Your Heroes Goes Wrong, and this one is actually going to be one of the biggest disappointing ones that there ever was. I'm not going to give anything away, but just so you know, this one is definitely not my fault. I don't know the name of the person whose fault it is. I'll definitely explain this when the time comes on Saturday night. Anyway, let's get housekeeping out of the way. Listening to the show, we love you and appreciate you. And we are available on all major podcast platforms. If you found us, you know exactly how to find us. Spread the word. Give us a like, a share, follow the show, whatever the verbiage is on your preferred listening device or app. Give us a 5-star review. That helps the show. Both those things are free. Just takes a second. And it'll help the show out a lot. And if you want to get in contact with the show, you can do it 2 different ways. You can join the Facebook group, which is Tales from the Car Podcast. And type it in the search bar, and it should come right up. Or email the show at mrpogo1972@gmail.com. And send us any comments, criticism, complaints, all that good stuff. Definitely love to hear from you guys. And if you'd like to donate to the show, you can do so at buymeacoffee.com/mrpogo1972 and the letter B. If there's any confusion on how to... the spelling of any of these things, it'll be in the show notes. Just click the links, it'll take you right to it. Stuff with Buy Me a Coffee, that explains on there how to donate to the show and everything. It just takes a couple minutes if you like to do that. But like I said, all that stuff will be in the show notes. So we're going to pause right here for just a moment and right back with discussion of comic book legend Peter David. Hello, welcome back to Tales from the Car, and let's get into this. So, Peter David is a longtime comic book writer and does a lot of excellent work. I don't keep up with comics today, so I'm not really sure. Maybe I should check to see if he's still writing. If he is, definitely check out his stuff, man. He's definitely one of the best. And when I was collecting back in the 90s, he was known for doing 2 things. He was the writer of the Hulk for 12 years, which is really incredible, and he had a great run on the Hulk. And he's also known for his run on X Factor, and he was the one that brought it was like the Mutant Liberation Front is what it used to be. It was like the Blob and, it was like Blob, Destiny, Mystique, the Toad, Avalanche, a couple other people, Quicksilver, and they became government agents, and they were supposed to be the good guys and stuff. I don't know. It was kind of an interesting run. Guido was also on that, and Lorna Dane were the other 2 significant people. That and Val Cooper was like their oh, I don't know, their government liaison or something. But anyway, that was actually like a pretty good fun run of stuff. But the Hulk is, like I said, what he's mostly known for, and he had, I mean, really some really great artists, especially Dale Keown on that book for a long, long time. And he's responsible for introducing such things as the Grey Hulk, which was also affectionately known as Joe Fixit, who was who had a job as a mob enforcer, which is one of the more interesting stories. And he also appeared in a few issue run of the Wolverine solo series in the late '80s that ran through, God, probably the late '90s, at least that long. And I know it got to 100 issues. I forget how far, where it stopped at. But the Grey Hulk appears in there. There's a really funny, like a couple of issues, like where, and I forget who was writing writing Wolverine at the time. I think it was Claremont, because that was pretty early on in the run. I think he was still doing it, and I think Mark Silvestri, if I'm not mistaken, was the artist on those books at that time. And they had this story where, like, while Hulk was sleeping, Wolverine went into his hotel room and stole all his pants and replaced them with purple pants. So, which is hilarious, because, like, well, Joe Fixit didn't wear that color. Like, that's, if you know the Hulk, like, he had the green skin and the purple pants, and he wakes up next day and just loses his mind. It's actually really comical. There's some good stuff in there, but he's famous for introducing that character. That and the Future Imperfect, a storyline and kind of timeline with the future Hulk, who was like an old guy with a gray beard and like gray hair and everything, and the Maestro is what he was called, and kind of like the apocalyptic sort of like Hulk future. That was really good, but he was something else, man. I guess the point is, like, we're talking about meeting. Me, Your Heroes goes right, and like the one I met him in New York in the early '90s, and I'm sure he was at more than one convention. I think I only ever got in line to meet him like one time. Maybe he was only there that one time. I can't remember exactly, but I had a pile of like X Factor books, and I had the some of the Hulks that he had done, and so I got in line. And the line, I remember, like, he was sitting in a series. There was like a series of tables that went in like a square, and he was at the head of this amalgamation of tables. And I swear to God, there was two lines. I don't know why they allowed this. There was a line going from the left and from the right, and he was basically signing anything you put in front of him. I mean, he would have had to written the book or whatever, but I mean, like, you could have sat down 10 books. You could have sat down in front of him one book. He would have signed whatever, and really talkative guy. Like, people were just yelling stuff at him, like questions. I mean, it was just chaos. But it was really cool, because it was like people yell stuff at him and he would answer the questions. And he, like I said, he really was like a really nice guy. And one of the things he had also done, if you're not of a certain age, you probably don't remember this at all, but Marvel had at one time a line of comics they called it the New Universe, and it literally was a new universe where all the stories took place in a completely different setting outside of the regular Marvel universe. And God, there was, Jesus, I can't remember all the books. There was like 6 or 7 of them, maybe more than that. And they canceled a whole bunch because everything in that line did not sell very well, and so a lot of stuff got canceled really quickly. But the stuff that kind of had a lasting Impact, or what appeared later on was like the Star Brand, and the he had Quantum Bands, and there was some like DP7, and there's a few others that showed up in Marvel in some of the cosmic stories like later on. And actually, I would say Quasar, but it was like in the Quasar books, like Quasar had discovered that planet or whatever. It was like they played it off like it was not like Earth or whatever. It was like a separate planet entirely, and like he interacted with like Star Brand and like the DP7. That almost sounds like a porno. But it was supposed to be the Displaced Paranormal 7. It was like there was that, and there was like Cyforce was almost another book was like supposed to be like a rip off of the X-Men. I mean, they had oh Jesus, what else was there? There was the Kickers Incorporated, which is like a football themed, not joking, like group of superheroes. There was oh my God, what else was there? There's the Star Brand, DP7, Kickers, Cyforce. Oh man, I'm forgetting. I don't. Yeah, there's a few more I'm forgetting, but like the one I'm going to talk about in particular was Mark Hazard Merc, which was basically a ripoff of the Punisher, and Peter David wrote 3 of the first 4 issues. I know this now. I'll never forget this, and I'll explain this in a second. He wrote issues 1, 2, and 4, and so I had copies of those because we actually you could almost get them for free. There was, I mean, you can buy like pretty much every New Universe title in this entire run for almost nothing. I don't even. It's probably not worth anything now even, but at the time they were really worth like just nothing. And they couldn't give them away. They were like 10 cents a piece and shit. So, or at least the stores would sell them that, right? They'd be in the super markdown bins. But anyway, so I had these issues, and I had them with me because when I used to go to conventions, I used to do this all the time. I would, because I collected all kinds of, I picked up all kinds of weird shit. I used to love comics, and I used to buy all kinds of weird stuff, especially if somebody with a name had done the book and the book wasn't worth anything. I bought that stuff because it created some great moments at conventions. So I had I wish I had all 4. I had the first 4 issues. I thought he did all 4, but he did like 1, 2, and 4. And I had my pile of books, and I stuck them on the bottom. So I finally get my chance to go up and meet him, and I think it took a while to get there. I mean, like I said, there was 2 lines. They were both big, and they were going in different directions. And but it was so much fun. I get up there. I remember talking to him. He was like super nice guy. I couldn't tell you what I asked him about, but just fucking like when you find someone like that who really enjoys interacting with fans and really goes out of their way to be cool to anybody. And answers any question, just yelling shit at him. You gotta really, really, take a step back and appreciate it. And he's signing my stuff and handing it back to me as he does it. And he finally gets to the bottom, and I guess he didn't realize it was me. I guess because I'll tell you in a second. He was on the bottom. He was answering questions, and he gets to the bottom. He looks down, and he sees Mark Hazard Merc, like issue 1, staring up at him, and it stopped him. He actually, for the first time in like the 15 minutes at least I'd been in line or waiting for him to sign my stuff, etc., he was completely speechless, and he just stopped. He's like, "Oh my God!" He's like, "Whose is this?" And I was very proud of myself. I said, "That would be mine," and he was like, "Oh my God." He goes, "Where did you get this?" I said, "I've had it in my collection. I never realized you did the issues, so I was just going through stuff to find to bring, for this weekend, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Jesus Christ." He's like, "I got to tell you something." He said, honestly, I am almost 100% positive this is the first time I have ever signed one of these. And I was just like, holy shit, what? He's like, yeah, like even this was going, like nobody's ever brought me these to a signing. He's like, oh my God, I don't think I've ever seen these or read these. I was like, and people were like, wait, what is that? And there was, and actually that was kind of crazy too. Like this is like in the early '90s. The New Universe was, I forget what year it came out. It ran for several years before they canceled all the titles, but the majority of them were gone. I said within like the first year, and like DP7 and like Star Brand and a couple others like went on for a while. But I mean, like, shit, it was somewhere between 87 and 89 that Marvel did that. Huge flop. And like I said, and so this is like probably anywhere from like, I don't know, like 4 to maybe like 6 years, maybe 5. Maybe it was 92. I forget, it was 92 or 93 this happened. And so you're looking at like 4 or 5 years later, and there are people in line who, I was like in my late teens, approaching my 20s, at this point. So like there were people, I don't know, like teenagers. I probably would have been too young, you know what I mean, to have been collecting comics when those came out. So I remember people in line, like behind me, were like, "What are those? Like, where'd you get those?" And I had explained. Well, Peter was then explaining it to me. Well, this is the New Universe. Like, this is Marvel's big, huge failure, like 1987 or 89, whatever year it was. And he's just like, he's like, and then he pulled out. He's like, one, signed the first 2. He's like, oh wait, I never did number 3. I said, are you sure? I said that I saw. And he pulled up. He was, oh yeah, look. And he wasn't mad. I don't know. I had a funny experience that once with Adam and Andy Kubert. Maybe I'll talk about that another time. Where, no wait, actually, I'll just do it here. There was like an issue of like the X-Men where I swear to God, I think I brought it to like Adam Kubert like 3 times for him to sign, like on different occasions. And the one time, like in 92 or 93, him and Andy, oh my God, they're amazing artists. Like Adam did comics for a while, and Andy quit because his family actually owned a school, the Kubert School of comic book like art. I forget the name of it. It's the Kubert School. I don't know if it still exists, but it had a good reputation. Like a lot of good people came out of that. And their father Joe was a fucking legend. Like he was doing comics in the 50s and 60s. And kind of get on this tangent with the Kuberts. They're all really fucking awesome and really good artists and very nice. I met all of them multiple times. But yeah, like I kept saying, bring it to Adam, and he's like, no, like Andy did this, and he finally showed me. I was like, oh shit, felt so stupid. And then he handed Andy, hey, would you sign this for this kid? He's like, oh yeah, sure. And I wasn't even in, and I think I got in Andy's line after that because it was like 2 separate things or something like that. But when he ended up signing it, it was like it was kind of a cool moment. And but yeah, Peter knew signed the first 4 the things, and we were talking to these kids about the New Universe and trying to explain it to them best I could. I said, look in so when you go home, if you're really that curious, I said, look in the bargain bins at your comic book shop. I'm pretty sure I told them this. Or look at it for them here. You'll find them for like, like 10 cents or a quarter or something. Like they're not worth anything, and they can't give them away. Like you'll find them like super cheap. And but yeah, he was so cool. I actually left him speechless. That was the most amazing thing of the whole thing. he was talking nonstop, and he was so cool, so personable, and I just wanted to share that story. I can't believe we've gone like 20 minutes now with this, and that's gonna wrap it up for the night, man. I thanks for listening, and I just walked down memory lane. That was when Meet Your Heroes Goes Right, Part 9. And we'll just close out the show here. And just remind you, if you're listening, especially you've gotten this far, if you're in this at the end of the show, know you're loved and appreciated, especially our international listeners. I should have brought that at the beginning. We got a bunch of new international listeners. I'm very shocked. I'm just flabbergasted. Let me tell you, if you're listening to this and you're overseas, man, you're definitely loved and appreciated. And we are available on all major podcast platforms. You know how to find us. You found us, you know how to find us. I can't even talk. I gotta get to sleep. And and make sure you like, follow, share the show, subscribe to the show, whatever the verbiage is on the app that you're using or device. Please give us a 5-star review too. All that costs you nothing. It's a couple of thumb clicks, mouse clicks, whatever. Contact the show through Facebook, the Facebook group, Tales from the Car podcast. Search for us, or you can email the show at mrpogo1972@gmail.com. And let us know anything you want to tell us, any comments, criticisms, complaints, all that good stuff. And you can donate to the show, help my coffee addiction, whatever. I don't buy Starbucks, so you'll be happy to know your money will be going to something good. And you do that at buymeacoffee.com/MrPogo1972B. The letter B is after the 1972 part. And you have any questions about how to spell that stuff, it'll all be in the links in the show notes, I promise. And that's where we're at, man. I hope you guys, everybody listening to this has a good week. Hope you had a good night. And I hope you're staying cool and dry. If it's rainy, it's so goddamn hot here today. It was just, I cannot wait for summer to be over. A couple of days wasn't that bad. I was back to being fucking miserable. And thanks to Joe from Elite Podcast for the show art. I always forget that too. I mentioned it at the beginning of the show. But anyway, man, like I said, until next time, in a few days even, you guys have a good week and have a good rest of your week, and have a good night. And peace out.